Hello, hello, hello. My name's Elder, and welcome back to the Open Debate. So today, I'd like to start off the episode by asking a question. When, if ever, does the act of taking a life become morally acceptable? I ask this because I recently came across a story of 3 young men who attempted a home invasion. During this attempt, one of the men was shot and killed by the homeowner. The homeowner has since been charged with second-degree murder. Now, as in many cases, there are 2 sides to every story. So let me read you the news article before you make any decisions. Target of Weyburn, Saskatchewan home invasion faces murder charge after allegedly shooting invader who later died. 2 other men alleged to be involved in armed home invasions are facing numerous charges. Article was written by Emily Pasick from CBC News. Police said that although the home invaders were armed with a shotgun, they believe only a resident fired shots with a .22 caliber rifle. The 23-year-old man who was a target of a home invasion in Weyburn, Keegan Muxlow, is facing a second-degree murder charge after allegedly shooting and killing an 18-year-old man who broke into his home with 2 others. Muxlow is also facing charges of unsafe storage of a firearm and possession of a firearm without a license. The 2 other men who are alleged to have broken into the home, a 23-year-old and a 25-year-old, have been charged with break and enter and committing assault, possession of a firearm without a license, and wearing a disguise during a commission of an offense. The 23-year-old was also charged with possession of what police described as a small amount of cocaine that was found during a search at the police headquarters. The men were all known to each other, according to the police. Deputy Chief Rod Stafford said that the home invaders had a shotgun with them, but did not know if they were carrying any other weapons. The 18-year-old, identified as Nathan Hutt of Weyburn, who was alleged to have been part of the home invasion, died in hospital around 12:30 a.m. on Saturday after shots were fired during a confrontation at the home. Stafford said the investigation so far doesn't point to there being a gunfight, meaning the only shots fired came from one .22 caliber rifle. The 23-year-old invader, who was also injured, Stafford said he was stabbed. On Saturday, the police chief said that he believed that this was an isolated incident. They were not looking for any other suspects. As for the reason for the home invasion, Stafford said they're still in the dark about that. That's one of the main questions we still have unanswered, and we're hoping that once we have interviewed each of the people in custody, that they will be able to shed some light, if not considerable light, on that, he said. Until you know the facts, don't jump to conclusions and don't take sides, he said. Even at this point, like I say, we're the only ones that really have any inkling of the true nature of the investigation. He also said they have been getting a lot of tips from the community, and he urged people to keep coming in or call in to give anything they might know about the incident. This was the first homicide in Weyburn in over 20 years, with the last one happening in 1995. The chief of police said he believed this was an isolated incident and there was no wider risk to the community. So the article brings up a lot of good points. First off, the homeowner did not have a license to own a firearm. Second, all of the individuals involved within the incident knew each other, so there's obviously a deeper story behind what's happening. And third, which brings up perhaps the most controversial point, which is the fact that there's absolutely no way that this man would have been able to shoot and injure, let alone kill, another person who has entered his home without facing criminal charges here in Canada. And because the laws are so vastly different between Canada and the United States, let me just give you a little overview of what I'm talking about. So, this is coming from Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt, but here's a little bit of information on the gun laws in Canada, and this is strictly pertaining to the storage of your firearm. So non-restricted firearms must be unloaded and either made inoperable with a secure locking device, such as a trigger lock, or have bolts or bolt carriers removed, or securely locked in a sturdy container, cabinet, or room that cannot be easily broken into, except if, in areas where it is legal to fire a gun, non-restricted firearms needed for predatory control can be temporarily left unlocked and operable, but they must be kept unloaded and all ammunition must be stored separately. And 2. In wilderness areas, non-restricted firearms can be left unlocked and or operable, but must be left unloaded. Ammunition may be kept nearby. Ammunition. Having ammunition kept in a location where it is not available for loading the firearm unless both the firearm and its ammunition are securely locked up is recommended. However, it is not required. Therefore, to comply with Canadian law, you technically need your firearm with a gun lock on it stored in a secure room, unloaded, with the ammunition in a separate area. So for you to be able to go, get your firearm, take the trigger lock off, get your ammunition from another room, load your gun, and then go and shoot an intruder shows clear intent. Therefore, there is absolutely no way for you to use a firearm against a home invader within Canada without being criminally charged. Now that I'm done my little rant, this particular case that we were just speaking of is very nuanced. 3 men broke into a home. One of them was armed with a shotgun. We are unsure if any of the other men were armed. They had their faces concealed, and the homeowner defended himself, but which ended up resulting in the death of one of the invaders. But because he didn't have the proper licensing, he is now facing criminal charges. I'm still weighing out my thoughts on this one. I believe the individual has the right to protect themselves, but I also believe that we should go through the proper channels and have securities to ensure that people that are owning guns are responsible adults. And therefore, when you don't go through those channels and you use a firearm, even if it's in the proper manner, there are still repercussions. Do I think he should be facing second-degree murder charges? I guess you could say that I'm left undecided with this one, but I guess that's why we call this channel The Open Debate. So let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. You know I'm always there to respond, and I'd love to hear what your opinions are on the difference between the Second Amendment and gun restriction. So try to just not bite each other's heads off. So yeah, keep an eye out for future stories. I plan to be putting out a lot more videos this year, and don't think I forgot about you. Big shout out to the patrons that have stuck around, Dr. Zalati's Magical Music Compass, and Brett Allen. From the bottom of my heart, actually, thank you guys for sticking around. It means a lot. And for everybody else, to let you know, I do have a Patreon going, so if you would like to support the channel, head on over there. Links will be in the description below, and click that Become a Patron button. But yeah, I think that's going to be all for today. As always, I'm Elder with The Open Debate. Be your own hero, kids.